Okay, Brian, let's jump into things. My goodness, what a week it has been for investors. A lot to talk about. Some volatility entering the market in a way we hadn't seen in a while. Some big swings, and then pockets of drastic movements. I think that's probably where we want to start. Do you agree? The GameStop and AMC part of the market that people have been, there have been some pumping up of those stocks.
Yeah, so let's start with just summarizing what happened, right? So there's a Reddit chat board called Wall Street Bets, and apparently the folks on Wall Street Bets are supposedly, quote unquote, the little guy, right? Just regular independent investors.
You having your doubts about that?
I definitely have my doubts about that. But, I think
someone more substantial pushing the.
That's for the SEC. That's for the SEC to sort out. But let's start out with what happened. So they identified a series of stocks that have a massive amount of short interest. Some even greater than 100% of the float, which really shouldn't happen in my humble opinion. And then they did they had a coordinated buy essentially of the stocks that caused massive
drive the stock higher.
That caused massive short squeezes and caused people who were short stock to have to buy the stock to cover.
Let me just stop you there for a second, Brian. Most people, when they think of buying stocks, they do it a traditional way where they're buying long. Essentially, they buy the stock, they wait for it to go up, and then they sell the stock. But a short seller, and many hedge funds do this kind of thing where they intend to see the stock, they expect the stock's going to drop in price. So they sell the stock first. That's a short seller. And with the intention of buying it lower. So they're still trying to sell high and buy low. They're just doing it in the opposite order. So in any case, this chat board was trying to push the stock higher in a coordinated fashion to force those short sellers to get out, which means they have to buy the stock, which could drive it even higher. Is that right?
Yeah. So it's important to note why these stocks were so heavily shorted. Is because these are not good companies. In a lot of cases, they the future of their business is tenuous at best. So the fact that they've gone up, billions and billions of dollars in market value in a short period of time has nothing to do with their underlying fundamental value.
Their real quality as a company.
So, ultimately this had huge reverberations through the market. There was some giant hedge funds that had trouble covering because unlike going long a stock where you can only, your position can only go to zero, when you go short a stock, you can lose kind of an infinite amount, really, if you don't cover it, and you have to make margin or maintenance calls, right? So
you got to throw in some cash so that there's the proper amount of rate of how much do you have on hand to be able to pay the bill.
Yeah, basically the bank that lends you the security wants to make sure that you have the money able to buy it. So then we saw further reverberations to the stock market on Wednesday, where it was down about 2.5%. And I surmise that this is largely in part of people raising funds through the rest of the liquid market in order to meet
investments that they might say, I could sell that reasonably priced and get some money from that kind of thing.
Yeah, in order to meet the margin calls that were, the hundreds of billions of dollars in margin calls that were clearly happening throughout the day. Then on Thursday, we expected much of the same, and it was controversial that some brokers didn't allow trading of some of these favored stocks. So that's controversial, and I expect there to be numerous lawsuits around this. And I've had.
So which stocks are you talking about? Those ones that had really seen some drastic run up?
Yeah, so GameStop, for example, was no longer being allowed to be traded on Robinhood on Thursday.
Oh.
So you know, however you feel about this, some people made massive amounts of money quickly. Some people lost massive amounts of money quickly, depending on, you know, when they caught the ride. I was doing some quick back of the envelope math earlier, and I saw, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars poured into GameStop, for example, on 10 a.m. on Thursday. And then an hour later, it was 30% of the price that it was trading at 10 a.m. And it was had even higher volume. It was really remarkable.